Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9LIVE. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim. We have Tyler. We're back. It's Thursday. It's like the 14th off day for the Pirates this week. How's everything going, guys?
It's going all right.
We did that thing again, Jim.
I know. I never know who should go first.
I know, right? We need to figure that out before the show.
Yeah.
It's only been
Almost like, you know how like a pitcher, when there's a runner on first, he always confirms like who's got second on a double play ball. We need to do that. We need to have some sort of hand motion.
Yeah. Like we have the same intros every time. I do the salute, you do the peace sign. Like,
yeah, it's just that last piece we need to get a little bit more consistency with.
Maybe like it depends on which hand we go with.
Yeah.
We need a pitch comm, actually.
PitchCom would definitely help because we have the private chat here that no one can see because we talk to each other during the show. No one can see it except for us. But the problem is that DiNardo doesn't check that all that often. And so it's really just me and you chatting the whole time, basically about when is DiNardo going to shut up so that we can end this stream. That's pretty much what the whole conversation's about. And DiNardo just ignores it.
Oh, every time can this be the last segment? And then he blows right through it
he just keeps talking.
It's like a red light at 3 a.m. He's trying to get home and poop.
That's all I'm hearing. Just, hey guys, I really don't want to do this. I don't really care about the people watching. I just want to get off here and play only the show. Can we stop? If it wasn't for me, these would be 20-minute segments. So Tyler can go pitch.
We did have a review on our podcast where it said it could be 2/3 shorter because all we do is blabber.
We did
about stuff.
This perfect
like
example.
This. Yeah, just like this.
Which, by the way, it's not as if I was going to bring up the private chat, but it's also not as if like we weren't all together 30 seconds before the show started to say, "Hey, Tyler, I'm going to go first."
We were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about.
At 9:02.
Welcome to Inside Baseball here, fellas.
Welcome to Inside Baseball. Anyways, what are we going to talk about?
How about this week? This week's been like it's been like an all-star break, I feel like.
It has.
This is the third day off this week with no Pirates baseball. It's like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, you use a right one or a left one apparently to signal to Tyler who goes first.
There you go.
But how about this? I'm going to go first because I'm going to tell you about Bet Online and how Bet Online is your number one source for NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. How was that, guys?
Terrific,
That was
buddy.
excellent.
Great job.
You did great there.
Thank you. I'm looking at the private chat. Nothing's there, so I guess we can continue the show.
Yeah,
Yes,
normally we'd have to remind you to do that one.
Yeah, continue on.
Whatever.
But okay, I gotta ask you guys real quick. There's been nights this week where I fall asleep and I will wake up at like 11 o'clock and be like, did I miss a post-game show? Because it's been so like non-Pirates this week that I feel like I should be doing something.
It has been weird. Like even yesterday, there was a doubleheader yesterday, but the last game ended at like 6 p.m. So like there was still nothing going on last night. Like we've had 2 games this week. They were both day games basically on the exact same day. So yeah, it's been a super weird week.
It has. But like you said, it's almost like an all-star break, and it feels that way. It's like we weren't expecting it. I mean, granted, there was 2 off days this week, which again now turns into 3. But it's like a little mini vacation. Like I felt the same way, Tyler. You know, we knew Monday was no game, but it was also Memorial Day. You know, you're gonna celebrate whatever. Then Tuesday ends up not being a game. It's like, oh, it's a night off. Wednesday was a day game, today no game. Yeah, like it just seems like I should be doing something else. I should be doing something more. But it's also kind of nice, a little break from the Pirates.
It is, but I think the weird part was when we were supposed to have a little watch along for our MVP members. So become an MVP member, and we get to hang out, watch a game together.
By the way, tomorrow, it's been rescheduled, going to be tomorrow. So if you're not an MVP member, here's a nice little plug. You can be. You can watch the baseball game along with us. We've just lost 13 members, guys. So you can actually be a member. Hit the join button. $4.99 is the MVP tier. And yeah, you can watch the game along with us and all the other MVP members tomorrow.
All right, let's get into it. I'm about to leave a review.
Okay, so the Pittsburgh
How about
Pirates
this right here? How about this? Is Rowdy still a Pirate? This is our first. Let's dive in. Yes.
I mean, do we have to? I'm just going to say this. Do we
I'm
have to talk about this topic?
Rowdy.
Because here's the thing. You know where we stand. He should have been gone weeks ago. So he's still here. I don't know why he's here.
Yeah, I think we've had enough Rowdy Tellez discourse to last us for the year. I think we're all done with him.
No, I'm with you. Like that.
Yeah.
It's a post-game show topic all the time because he's on the team and he's taking up a spot. And it seems like even if he's not in the lineup, there's a reason to talk about him. And maybe that's just because our brains are broken by Rowdy Tellez at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit rowdied out. I'm no longer rowdy.
Okay, so perspective. Okay, Tyler, you said I was an idiot for asking this, but
Sounds like me.
Yeah, it does. When Noah was on, right, and Rowdy was still a Pirate, of course, because he still is a Pirate. I asked, is it potentially, waiting for Brian Hayes to get healthy? Just for the fact, like there's no other rational reason. So maybe it's just the fact that Brian's injured still, to have another corner infielder on the team until he's back to then make the move and say, you're gone. But Brian Hayes returned. He's healthy. Rowdy's still here. And I get like there was the doubleheader and that's why he played. But like the thing about this too is the fact that like he's also not playing. He's had, what did I count? He had 12, I think, plate appearances since May 13th. Now, obviously, because of the doubleheader, now is 16. But
he started one game in the last week. Since last Thursday, he started one game.
So we get less Rowdy is better. But ultimately, the thing is, no Rowdy at all is what should happen. And so if your whole rationale behind Rowdy still being on the team is the underlying metrics are still there, we still believe we got to get him going. Well, you're not playing him. So you're not getting him going. So if you don't want to play him, then why is he here?
The old war of attrition. Keep as many people available as you can. Because that's Ben Sherrington's MO. Until it's not. I know you want to talk about Roansy. I know you do.
Thank you.
I know you do.
They did it for the wrong guy.
And for God's sake, Jim just said, I don't want to talk about Rowdy. I just said, I don't want to talk about Rowdy. DiNardo goes in and talks about Rowdy. And then it just leads into Roansy. So just go ahead, DiNardo. Complain about Roansy. Have fun.
No, I don't need to complain. Jim's the one that brought it up. I wasn't going Rowdy. Jim did.
Not.
Jim
We both said we don't want to talk about Rowdy.
Here.
And then I just want to mention that last time we were no, just talk about Roansy like you want to. We all know he's pitching well in Los Angeles. Just tell us why the Pirates are stupid. Go ahead.
I don't want to go too deep into this because it's still early, and I don't want to this is my slam dunk moment because Roansy has pitched 4 innings with the Angels. However, he's pitched 4 innings with the Angels. His velocity's up a whole mile per hour. So far effective. It's 4 scoreless. It's something I'm monitoring. And again, it's not as if I'm here because I can't believe, I can't believe they screwed up Roansy. But at the moment of time, I can't believe they're losing him because of how good he's performing. It was just a fact of like, it didn't make sense at the time. And I think we talked about it. There was the show before, like who's going to get DFA'd. And I know my stance, I don't know, I forget where everyone else was, but like I didn't think Roansy was, because again, like it just didn't make sense at the time. And the way this bullpen has performed and been, they sure as hell could use Roansy at this point in time. So I don't know, guys. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point, because I feel like, you talked about his MO with just holding on to as many bodies as possible. This is how he's operated for the last few years. And in this particular case, he didn't operate that way. It was just odd, because, I mean, I'm looking at this active roster right now, and Roansy Contreras is better than Kyle Nicholas.
Yeah.
And
that's
he's
the guy
probably better
the
than Carmen Majinski and Jose Hernandez and Hunter Stratton.
I'll say this, and Jim,
I said probably.
this was your guy. I don't know if I'm ready to say Hunter Stratton, actually.
Yeah,
I feel
I
pretty
said
good
probably.
about Hunter Stratton.
I like Hunter Stratton too, but like I was surprised they DFA'd Roansy. I don't know how much is there, but looking at the rest of this team, I feel like he's better than some of these guys.
I agree with that. I think the really questionable part is that you mentioned Hunter Stratton there, and I don't know that Rowansy's better than him. But with Hunter Stratton, he has options, correct? Like I'm not
Right. Yeah.
Like with Ben Sherrington's MO, he just deviated from that there, where it's close enough that it's something that Ben Sherrington doesn't do previously. Like Stratton's down before Roansy gets DFA'd every day of the week for the last 4 years.
But can we also discuss like the depth of the bullpen isn't really all there?
That's actually the other thing, is that they went short in the bullpen. What the hell are we doing?
I don't know. They're so good, guys. They're so smart.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not. Don't get me wrong here. Like, I'm not gonna lose my mind because they DFA'd Roansy Contreras. Like, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good. And he's a righty reliever. These guys are a dime a dozen. It's just I'm surprised that they did it based off of who's on the roster, because we've all seen what Kyle Nicholas does. Like, Kyle Nicholas just cannot be put in the situations where like you need outs. Like I have zero faith in him whatsoever. And like the comment says here from Bucko Mike, there's nothing in AAA, so like you need some bullpen depth because there's nothing there. And they got rid of Roansy, which again, I don't think he's any good, but there's a lot of players in this bullpen right now who I don't think are very good, and he's just kind of lumped in with them. So I'm just surprised they got rid of the guy who didn't have options.
So for Ben Sherrington's sake here, I hope that Roansy doesn't end up good, because Robert Stevenson, Clay Holmes, Roansy Contreras all being given up for nothing when your bullpen just continues to be bad every single year. That'd be a tough scene.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say Rowansy's not good either. No, certainly have concerns. Absolutely have concerns. And again, like when he was DFA'd, I wasn't up in arms about it. And I think we talked like, if that is the choice, I'm not going to go crazy. And I'm not going crazy in the sense, but it didn't make sense. Now it's you sit back, you wait and watch. And all we have right now is 4 innings, but those 4 innings, again, the velocity is up. So far, the performance is better. Again, it's small sample. I'm not here to dunk on anyone for 4 innings, 0 earned runs. But to that point, I think there's a lot of people out there just saying how, well, he's terrible. Like of course, you just have to automatically side to the team's decision and just say, well, he was trash. There was no point. He was terrible. It's bad because it's happened. And I'm not ready to do that with Roansy. We saw that he had an entire day. You saw the talent with the guy to begin with. I don't believe that it's just gone. Is it not what we anticipated it would be? Sure. But I'm kind of on like Tyler's side here. I'm watching because this turns into the Clay Holmes. And I'm not saying like Clay Holmes to the T, but like this is another scenario where Rowansy's now the one that's gone. And hey, the Angels of all people turn his career back around or whatever. Whew.
And I'm
I'm down on Ben.
I think what I'm surprised about is they just gave up on him at such a young age after like the pedigree that he had, right? Like Roansy Contreras graduated as the number 44 prospect in baseball 2 years ago. Like this was 2 seasons ago, 2022. He graduated as the number 44 prospect in baseball. And 2 years later, he's DFA'd. He's 24 years old. Guess what Mitch Keller was doing when he was 25 years old? He was putting up a 6.17 earned run average over 100 innings, right? So it's like, again, I'm not saying Roansy Contreras is going to be like Mitch Keller. I'm just a little surprised that they cut loose so quick.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
The timing just didn't make sense.
Sorry.
No, that's all.
No, I'll say it the third time. That was stupid. Like this team employs really bad baseball players. With, as Jim said, Roansy has pedigree. They employ guys without pedigree. Like
Kyle Nicholas.
Yeah.
Kyle Nicholas has pedigree.
I mean, there are guys in this bullpen that you see the stuff with them, right?
Hmm.
I can't unlock in my brain here what the Angels did, and it's been 4 innings. I understand that. How can a guy go to another team and just unlock another mile an hour?
Adrenaline.
Maybe
could just be like, hey, change of scenery.
I get that's possible, but like
new team, new me.
At the same time, if this continues with Roansy, and I don't know if it will, because there were legitimate things that I was worried about, even going back to when he came up.
Yeah.
That I wasn't full on board with him being a top of the line starter. Talent's there. But like when you see Clay Holmes take off like he did in New York, you see Robert Stevenson go to Tampa Bay and just become an elite reliever. You start to wonder, is this the next one in line? Time will tell.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, but again, we'll see. Like Nola says here in the comments, like I'm personally not going to get upset about him right now. Like I don't know if he's good. I'm okay with the move. It was surprising to me. Not something that I would have done. Like if this was me running the team, I would have just sent Kyle Nicholas to AAA. That would have been my move.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair. And I do want to get that point across. I'm not going berserk over this, but again, it is absolutely something I'm watching.
I feel like it would take us down a really big.
It didn't make sense. Like you could just simply put the guy who's not pitching well and Nicholas in AAA and still have Roansy and still go. And you have that depth. And you're not wondering, oh boy, no one in the bullpen's pitching well. And they're all tired. And we have no depth now in the bullpen because we just purged everyone after all the injuries that we've had. But anyways, we've already spent too much time on this, I feel. Again, that's how I feel about Roansy. It's too much time. Let's move forward. But something of note and to monitor for sure. Do we want to talk about Kutch?
Okay, Coach.
I do want to talk about Kutch for multiple reasons. For one, because I was right. No, I mean, we all were. We've been talking about Kutch for a while now, right? When everyone doubts us, no, he's washed, he's done. He's not. And he keeps showing it. And what's the other thing that we kept talking about? Why is Kutch not leading off? Well, guess what he's doing now, guys? He's leading off pretty much exclusively. And he is absolutely dominating in that role. Do you know how much he's dominating, guys?
How much he's dominating?
He is dominant. We're talking like literally almost vintage Kutch. And I say almost because like vintage Kutch was MVP. That's MVP caliber. But we're damn near close to that. Andrew McCutchen in the leadoff spot. Guys, currently batting 280. His on base is 369.
Nice.
Slugging 505. A 148 weighted runs created plus. What are you guys laughing at?
Nothing.
So I got to check this private chat out.
You said a
No,
number,
no.
and he said nice.
He's got a nice OBP.
Oh, okay. Well, I know every time I go and put up numbers now, you guys question me, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, I was
things.
fact checking you. I was looking at him as you were saying that.
I was
I assumed it. But again, we're talking about a guy who has a 148 weighted runs created plus. That's not washed, guys. That's the best hitter on the Pirates, essentially. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. At leadoff. And before leadoff was a lot of bad luck that we were talking about, which is why his numbers weren't in line with this. So now that it's kind of evened out, right? The baseball gods have gone away and said, "Here, Kutch, you do your thing. We're done interfering." He's performing. He's performing absolutely well.
You know what's crazy though? His weight or his expected weighted on base average, and I don't like made up numbers, but I like them whenever they prove my point. His expected weighted on base average is higher than as high as it's been since 2015. 367. It has not been higher since 2015. Jim especially talks a lot about the bad luck he's gone through. But like, he is smoking baseballs. Like I'll full disclosure here, I was one of the ones saying I am worried what happens if Andrew McCutchen falls off a cliff here and what the Pirates are going to have to do. He hasn't fallen off a cliff. Like he's been pretty good.
I get he's on pace for a 25 homer pace. I don't think any of us expected that.
No.
And that's with the bad luck on the home runs too. That's with two literally being robbed in front of our faces in PNC Park in 1 week. But to your point about the expected stuff, you know, like I get that too. Like those are fake numbers, but that kind of tells a story if you read into the story correctly. And that's what we were talking about before, right? Like you look again, and this was when we were talking about that, which was like now 3 weeks ago, Jim, like when we were really hammering this, when the numbers didn't look the way they look now. I mean, he was a well below average hitter, but like when you looked at the expected stuff, he's hitting the ball better than he was last year. And it's not even close. And last year he was an above average hitter. Like what was it, 115 or 119 last year? Weighted runs created plus he had something like that.
It was like 115, I think.
So like he was a good hitter last year. And he is smoking last year. I mean, the contact, the hard hit, right? So like when you're talking about the expected stuff, to understand what that means, right now, Tyler, when it comes to expected weighted on base, you said the number 367. That's 26th in baseball. So like going just by expected stuff, like the profile of the contact and how he's hitting and stuff like that, right? The 26th best in baseball.
Yep, 7th best barrel percentage also. So, you know, and the names here, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, O'Neal Cruz, Andrew McCutchen, Tyler O'Neill. Like those are the 7 names, right? And we all know those are guys who are blistering baseballs. And you've got McCutchen right with those guys. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to see what he's doing. His stats are still well below his expected stats too. Like it's starting to creep up, but his expected slugging is 510. 510.
That's
MVP. He's slugging level. 407. Right. Like he is
vintage Kutch.
He is crushing the baseball right now. And you're seeing it starting to pay off. But yeah, he's found a home in that leadoff spot, like you mentioned. Like, just pencil his name in there every single night. Let him
It's weird what happened
do
when
this,
that happened.
because like this is, I was not expecting this from Kutch, but like I said, the numbers are about where they were last year, like from a runs created standpoint. But the batted ball data is so much better. So like you can only expect these things to continue to get better as his playing time increases. So yeah, I'm excited for him. He's been huge. Like, and you kind of noticed that was really when the offense started to make a turn too. Was like once they started putting him consistently in that leadoff spot. We talk about how the lineup just changed and changed and changed and changed and changed. But once they started putting him in the leadoff spot every single day, the offense has been a lot more consistent and has been scoring a lot more runs. And that coincides with the Nick Gonzalez call up. So like that's in there too. But like McCutchen and Gonzalez have really fueled this offense.
It's awesome. I want to, as well as Donardo, I'll pat you on the back over Zoom here, or StreamYard, whatever we're on. But you mentioned the McCutchen hitting leadoff, and just something about the lineup staying the same, and it's been relatively close to the same, at least the top 5 or so.
Yes.
For probably the last 3-4 weeks. Just let them ride. Stop messing with stuff all the time, and we're seeing what happens. But really, though, another like 2 months of this, and we're gonna be on here like, is Kutch coming back for another year, please?
Oh, he's coming back for another year. Like
another 5
not the
million,
question
please.
at this point in
Here
time.
you are, sir.
What the question is, and this is still premature, but this is a thought I had the other night too. What the question is, can Kutch be a Hall of Famer? That was a debate we had, and we said, well, it's probably not. He's going to have like 3 years where he puts up some numbers again. What he's doing right now is those type of numbers. So I don't know how much more of this he has in the tank, but if this season rides out, I think that's the talk that we're going to have. He's coming back. He's coming back. Does he have more in the tank to give those 3 more years of saying, hey, you know what? Maybe this resurgence helps him.
I mean, it's a good question to ask, because I think the thing that's hurting Kutch right now are just some of the counting stats, right? Like, I think you compare him just across the board, just the entire caliber of player that he is, from his defense to his base running to his offense. He's in a pretty elite category of guys. But the more counting stats you can just rack up, like let's say if those 307 homers turns into 350 homers, and now he's 350 homers, he's 1,250 runs, he's 450 doubles. Like once all those start adding up, it just strengthens his case a little bit more. So yeah, I think he still probably has to go 3 years to get it. Like it's got to be 3 good years. But
and that's
possible.
And that's the dialogue that we had.
Yeah.
We said he probably needs 3 more years.
Like what if he just leans into this DH role. If he can stay healthy and just hit for 3 more years, there's a shot.
I do think a part of that is like if the Pirates somehow turn into like a deep playoff run team, that'll help his case a good bit.
That's the comment right here I just put up on the screen. Yeah, like if he was like the narrative of him returning to the Pirates, being the face of a Pirates playoff run, that right there is a pretty huge boost.
Yeah, can't wait for another month from now where we're talking about, are the Pirates going to trade Andrew McCutchen?
Andrew McCutchen, the catalyst for 2 Pirates playoff runs.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. First ballot.
At that point, yeah.
He was on Pirate teams that went to the playoffs in separate occasions.
Yeah.
Playoff.
Name the
right away.
No, like
go
change
directly
the
to Cooperstown.
Change the logo, like the MLB logo. Change it to just him.
Just like the Kutch Jordan.
Yeah.
Like whenever he hit the walk-off home run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you answer my question then. Does it say with or without the dreads? Clearly with the dreads.
With the dreads. Duh.
Maybe both. Maybe if it's like if it's going one way, it's with dreads. With the other way, without.
Nah, do it with dreads. Dreads look cooler.
Jim's like, let's just make it a hologram.
Yeah, why not?
I got a question for you. Speaking of the MLB logo, this is a little off topic, but is the guy in the MLB logo, is he a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter?
You son
I'd have
of
to
a
look at
bitch.
it. I don't actually know.
That's for you to decide. Yeah, you can't like actually tell the way it could be either, really.
It's up to your own imagination.
I got a good
I'm gonna
brain.
imagine he's a right-handed hitter.
Ooh, that's a right-handed hitter. How could you? That's not a left-handed hitter at all.
It could definitely be a left-handed hitter
Ow.
if you're looking at the front. You're looking at the front.
No, it's right-handed. What are you guys looking at?
Is the dress black and gold, or is it blue and?
Or is this Yanni or?
It's right-handed,
That's right-handed all day.
but it could be left. I think.
I
right?
don't know actually what you're looking at. I don't understand how that's left-handed. I think you're both stupid for that.
Everyone says it's a righty.
Rabbit or
Except for
duck? A
Ethan.
good one, Ethan.
Ethan
Like,
says
yeah.
duck or rabbit.
So the official reason, the official thing is the silhouette is chosen specifically because of its ambiguity. It could be either right-handed or left-handed, or it could be a player of any ethnic background. It's not
right.
it's not modeled after anyone in particular.
I actually get what you're saying, because that if I use my brain here, I could see the left-handed. Like, just take a step back, and you're looking at the other part of it. That could be left-handed, but if you have a bad brain, unlike me, you would definitely think that's left-handed. I have a good brain, and I can see it's right-handed.
MLB logo is Chris Stein's, in case you guys didn't know.
All right, sorry to get us off topic there.
Yeah, well, I do want to get back to Kutch. So another little obscure thing about Andrew McCutchen. We all know about the furries, right? When the furries are in town, Andrew McCutchen goes off. So we can't wait. That's coming up. Furries are coming up. Andrew McCutchen's going to go off. But there's also something else, folks. So there's been 4 games where Andrew McCutchen has homered. And something has happened in each one of those games. Do you guys know what it is? I mean, I know Jim does. I know Tyler
don't.
does. Oh, wait, you don't? Wait, do you not know what we're talking about now?
I don't actually. Is it a furry?
Tyler's like, I just showed up. Paul Skenes has started
That thing.
in every one of those games. Andrew McCutchen, when Paul Skenes start, again, you guys, the Paul Skenes effect is a real thing. And once again, to prove it, every time Paul Skenes has started, Andrew McCutchen has homered. And Paul Skenes starts this year. Andrew McCutchen is 6 for 14 with 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's batting .429, .529, slugging .1286 with an OPS of 1815. So now that Andrew McCutchen's luck has turned, now that Andrew McCutchen is leading off, furries are coming into town here and there. Also, every 5th day, Paul Skenes. When we said how the talk at the end of this year is not if Kutch is returning, but could Kutch be in the Hall of Fame? He's got Paul Skenes on his back.
Maybe the move here is to turn Paul Skenes into an opener. I did this once in Out of the Park Baseball, and it worked wildly successfully. I just had 2 starters all year. They each started 81 games.
I think this was wildly successful.
And they only pitched 2 innings at a time. but they started every other game. So with this logic, you make Paul Skenes an opener, give him 2 innings every other game. That's 160 innings over the course of a year. Like you're still getting enough.
That's true.
But what it ends up being is at least 81 Andrew McCutchen home runs.
Right.
At least.
Like, that is genius.
At least. Like, and that's assuming no homers on non-Paul Skenes starts. But if he homers every Paul Skenes start, that's 81 homers. Then, you know what? Definitely getting into the Hall of Fame. This is how he punches his Hall of Fame ticket. Paul Skenes is just going to have to start every other game.
Well, and think about this too, right? Like, we know how good Paul Skenes is. And if Andrew McCutchen's doing this as Paul Skenes starts and he's starting every other game, well, it's a best of 5 or best of 7 series for the playoffs. Like, you could just imagine, like, there's no shot that any team playing the Pirates and Paul Skenes starts is going to win. Now, with Andrew McCutchen having an 1800 OPS in every single one of those games and guaranteed a home run. So we just said he needs that moment, right? If he's going to the Hall of Fame, he needs the stats, right? Some of the counting stats to pick up, but he needs that defining moment. I mean, not just taking the Pirates into the playoffs, but I mean, winning a World Series with the Pirates with the help of Paul Skenes starting every other day. He's in the Hall of Fame. He only needs 1 year. We're talking 3. No, Kutch just needs this 1 year.
Paul Skenes has done miracles on me.
There you go.
So
I think this is a great idea. I think we need to tell someone in the Pirates organization about this idea.
I think we should be managers. Like, I really do think, like, the 3 of us, let's just put us in the dugout. Let us make up the day-to-day decisions, and we'll be fine. Like, they will win 85 games if you let Jim, Tyler, DiNardo, and obviously it's going to be Jim and Tyler making the decisions because 2 out of 3 overrules, and one person here.
Plus, it'll be in the private chat,
about.
so I'll never read it.
Exactly, and we'll just tell you, "Oh, it's a great idea, buddy. Go down to the batting cage. Have fun." All right, what are we doing in the lineup today, Jim?
But honestly, like, we should reach out to them, right? And I
can't believe
serious when I say this.
I can't believe they
sure,
even thought
somewhat
about
in
this.
jest, but I'm legit thinking about, like, telling somebody this. It's like it's a real thing. It worked wildly successful in Jim's Out of the Park.
It worked so well in a video game. Like,
and
I don't understand.
And in this
why we
4-game
can't.
sample, we know what Kutch can do. It's you can even keep Rowdy Tellez on the team. You will still win.
I just want to say, like, we're discussing Jim's prowess as a out of the park baseball GM, and we're talking to right here an assistant coach of the year in high school baseball. Like, what better resume do you have?
I mean, Kutch's personal coach right here.
Exactly. We got
the other thing
coach.
too. Here's the other thing too about this theory is you probably vastly lower your pitcher's arbitration values because they're going to go into arbitration with like 80 starts. But guess what? They're going to be like, they're going to be like 0-30.
Yeah. Right. Paul Skenes doesn't
wins.
have a win to
like, what are you
his
talking
name.
about? This dude has 0 wins. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Genius.
God, what are we doing here,
Ben
guys?
Charrington's sounds like a win-win.
Oh, I just want this person to realize. I hope he knows that we're not serious right now.
No, we took this thing so far off the rails.
No, but that's a pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I think, but I think there is something to it. Like, there's something to the offense performing better when Paul Skenes starts. Like that, he's a really good pitcher. They can see how good he is, and it just changes their mindset a little bit. Like,
You
hey,
talked about adrenaline earlier. Like,
yeah,
it's a different mentality.
yeah.
Okay.
I
So
could
then
be wrong. Like, they could be
why do
shut
they
out
think
next game.
Jared
And
Jones sucks? Because they do the opposite on Jared Jones days.
yeah, that's true. Quinn Priester too. I think they didn't.
And
Like,
well,
they like never scored a run in a Quinn Priester start.
but
So where I would differ there is that maybe not, but at least the home starts with Paul Skenes. The atmosphere is a little bit different. It feels like when Paul Skenes starts, it feels like a big game atmosphere. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but it does. At least as a fan base, everybody's amped up for Paul Skenes starts. It doesn't matter. That will fade at some point. Jared Jones, we never really got there. It was more of like a underlying, this guy's really good. This guy's really good. This guy's really good. Paul Skenes, you knew the day was coming up. It's a different feeling.
that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, so far the offense has performed behind Skenes. So
It really has. Wait,
Yeah.
they had 2 games in double-digit runs with Paul Skenes, huh?
sure.
Sure.
Right?
I'm not fact checking.
That Cubs game, his first was 10, right? And then in Detroit, they scored 10, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
So half of his games, they've scored double-digit runs. And they've probably done it like 3 times the entire year. So
They again, like Pitt City, what here? It's a winning mentality. They just they expect to win. Paul Skenes starts, maybe that's what it is.
there it is. I know Paul Skenes definitely expects to win.
I'll say this too: the Tigers basically just threw that game yesterday too. Like, why didn't they start Jack Flaherty? Like, he was supposed to start that
I
day,
know.
and instead they called up some scrub from AAA who just makes a living of hanging sliders that get hit far. So it worked out for us.
Yeah. And I'll say something to that. There's a lot of dumb GMs and a lot of dumb baseball things that happen. And I know it's like, we look at it on a micro level and like when it's just the Pirates and you bash what they're doing here day in and day out. Like a lot of teams do a lot of dumb things also. Good example, the Detroit Tigers. They could have swept Jack Flaherty potentially, right? Could have done what you expected him to do against the Pirates and strike out, just like the Scooble. Could have been back-to-back, just embarrassing games for the offense, and it wasn't. They let us have it. They let them on the hook.
Off
the hook. They let us on the hook, though.
They let us on the hook, and then they let us off the hook. Yeah.
All right. I got to do it, guys.
No, let's do it. I was trying to segue.
Do it.
I got to do it. And I know I'm the one that's going to bring it up anyhow, but we have to talk Jared Jones.
Why do we talk Jared Jones, Tyler?
Well, because it's basically a Jared Jones podcast, and that's all we talk about. Him and Paul Skenes are basically it anymore. Paul Skenes, Jared Jones, and the Oakers. That's what we talk about. But
McCutchen.
And, okay, coach. Jared Jones. We saw the bad outing. Love Jared Jones myself. I really just want to get a temperature check from you guys. It's like when I'm smoking a brisket and we're about like 4 hours in and I want to know whether to wrap it or not and whether I'm getting into the stall. Is this thing going to just stall out and just be crap, or are we going to end up with a good brisket? Jared Jones, since that Colorado start where he went 7 innings. I have his numbers right here. Ish, kind of.
7 innings, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah.
May 4th.
Correct.
That was his best start of the year.
Yeah. Since that start, he did have 3 quality starts in a row. But since then, strikeouts per 9, 7.25, walks per 9, 2.82, ERAs 5.24, and granted that is going to be inflated by the last outing. FIP 4.79. guys, like I like Jared Jones a lot. I think he's struggling lately. Like, I don't see the dominant Jared Jones we saw earlier. And it's similar to me like Mitch Keller last year, right? Where he was so dominant early that it's like, oh, Mitch Keller is on a different level now. We saw him settle more into, but more of a, what I think right now we see as a number 3 type of role for him. I don't know where we're at with Jared Jones right now. He was so good that the Jacob deGrom comparisons, they weren't outrageous at that point because he was that good. And obviously, it's damn near impossible to be like Jacob deGrom. I just question whether we got a little bit too high of hopes with him. I know you guys are really still high on him, but I'm starting to maybe just temper the expectations a little bit. And I like that we're seeing the innings eaten by him, and we did with the quality starts, but the command hasn't been as good. Strikeout rate's been worse. Whiff rate's been worse. The league will start to punch back, as we said. It's a wait and see game, but maybe I'm getting a little worried. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm getting worried.
I'm not getting worried. Now that 7-inning game was definitely like the peak of Jared Jones. You're making me use both of my screens now as I'm going back and forth here. But yeah, May 4th, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 1 hit. May 10th against the Cubs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. I'll say this on that May 10th game, 18 swings and misses. Like, he was still generating a ton of whiffs. Then he faced the Cubs again, 15 swings and misses. He outpitched Justin Steele that day. Then he goes against the Giants, against Blake Snell, and 16 swings and misses. Also outpitched Blake Snell. And then, had the blow up game this past game, only 4 swings and misses. So I think if there's anything to look at, it's like, 4 swings and misses. He obviously was off this week against Detroit. Like, this was his worst outing. But yeah, I'm not going to get too concerned. I'm not going to get concerned actually at all yet. This is just, he's a 22-year-old starting pitcher. He has 11 major league starts, and it took him until his 11th to have a bad one. Yeah, like I have no concerns right now. If he starts stacking bad starts, then maybe, but there's really nothing in those Cubs starts and that Giants start to raise red flags for me that say, oh no, maybe Jared Jones isn't what we thought he was. Like, the stuff's still great. He's still generating tons of swings and misses until this past start. I'm not concerned in the least bit as of right now.
I think I'm going to counter your worry, Tyler. To me, there was a lot of encouraging things in that. I've been saying all along, and I didn't think it was going to take this long to find it, right? But I've been waiting for Jared Jones to have the bad game, to see how he responds. I've been waiting for, all right, I mean, you are a rookie, you are human, like, you're going to have a bad start at some point. How do you respond to that? So he finally had it. Let me give him a built-in excuse. And it's an excuse, but he is a rookie. He was supposed to start the night before, ends up starting the next day. Maybe that threw him off a little bit. I don't know, because yesterday was clearly his worst start. And like, as Jim said, like, the swing and stuff wasn't, the swing and miss wasn't there. The command wasn't there. Like, it was just completely off. It was also raining. The game that was postponed was nice and dry. The game that they played literally thunderstormed. So I'm going to give him that excuse because so far that's the anomaly of all of his starts, right? But it still happened. And I think it's good for him. I want to see some adversity because he hasn't really struggled yet. I want to see that adversity. Now he had it. Now let's see how he responds, right? But as you talked the games after Colorado, I was more impressed, obviously, on the games beforehand, but you saw how it almost seemed like almost every start he didn't have his best stuff. Like you said, like he's pretty much had his best stuff all year through Colorado. And then it was like it wasn't really there. He had to rely very slider heavy a couple games, but it was still there. He was still working through it. He was pitching. And to see a 22-year-old not just throwing, but truly pitching with the confidence he had, the quick in-game adjustments that he had, that spoke a lot to me to make me feel like, oh, you know what? This kid's got it. This kid's got it. And that made me feel more confident in Jared Jones because when his stuff isn't there, he's still giving you 6 innings, 3 earned runs. He's still giving you a quality game. So I will say this. I don't have red flags, but it's always been a concern, and it's a very, very small concern. He doesn't really have a third pitch. Like he is basically 4-seam slider. And it can be done. We know it can be done, but there's very few that can do it. His stuff is the stuff that can do it. But that's the slight concern with me is he doesn't really have that third pitch. So like if one isn't there, he only got the slider today. But that doesn't change like this Detroit outing and the one since Colorado hasn't changed that mindset at all for me since. So yeah, like I'm not this doesn't really change anything for me. It's still a wait there. Let's see how the whole season develops. But I'm absolutely still very encouraged by Jared Jones.
So I don't disagree with you guys at all. I still like Jared Jones a ton. And this is not an indictment on Jared Jones at all. I like what he brings as a starter. The potential is obviously there. The stuff's there. I think where my concern lies with him is that it's probably been 4 starts in a row that we continue to talk about him not having his best stuff.
True.
That's a lot of starts where we're talking about the guy not looking at his best. If this is Paul Skenes and he's throwing 97, we'd be starting to hit the panic button. We've seen this song and dance before with this team. And maybe it's just me being burned as a Pirates fan in general, where I've seen the pitchers come through the organization that start to lose the stuff as time goes on. That's where I might be premature in my worry, but I appreciate that he's, as you said, Denardo, he's learned how to be a pitcher through this. And the fact that he's been able to put together multiple quality starts out of it, truthfully, is kind of incredible. Not all 4.5 ERAs are about the same. Like quality starts are different than a 4.5 ERA. But when we keep talking about him battling through without his best stuff, after a month of that happening, I start to get a little bit concerned. When's the best stuff going to come back?
Yeah, I think it's fair especially last game, to look at the stuff and see, the fastball was a full mile per hour less than season average. Like what happened there? I'm not even going to say that though, that his other starts didn't have his best stuff. Like it was still really good stuff. Was it his like best stuff? No, but his best stuff also was generating, like the best results by any pitcher ever. Right. So like he doesn't necessarily have to be that guy. Like maybe that's not who he is. Maybe that's just him at his best, right? Him at his best, he can be that elite guy. But maybe he is a 3.5 ERA pitcher, which is also a very good pitcher if you're striking out a lot of dudes, right? And you're generating a lot of swings and misses, a valuable starting pitcher. That's a number 2. Like that's a number 2 or number 1 on most staffs. So Yeah, I'm not quite ready to raise the red flags. I think he may be set too high of a standard, maybe in his first like handful of starts. Like again, we're talking about he was doing things that no one had ever done before to start his career, ever.
To the names like you mentioned, like DeGrom, never done it. Verlander, never done it.
Yeah, so I think maybe it was just maybe it's unfair to him to like hold him to okay, Jared Jones, you've got the best stuff ever of any pitcher ever, and you're going to be, you know, this next Cy Young, your multi Cy Young award winner. Like maybe that's not who he is. Maybe like that's who he is at his best, and he's somewhere in between, yesterday and his best. But if he's consistently putting together solid starts, which he's still doing, like he's 11 starts this year and one's been bad. He's 10 for 11. He's 10 for 11. That's really, really good. So yeah, I have no concerns yet. Now, if he starts stacking if he starts stacking 4 bad starts in a row or whatever, then we can talk. But yeah, I'm not there yet.
And I want to add on to what you mentioned, Jim. Like, I just want to definitely hone in on that. His stuff is just so good that when we say he doesn't have his best stuff, it's still better than anyone that's on the mound that day for either team. Like you said, he had how many swing and misses on those games that he didn't have his best stuff, right? I mean, he's still damn near 20 whiffs per game that he was out there pitching with his lesser stuff. Guys don't do that on their best days. And he's doing that when we're talking about, he's not really there. So again, like to go back to the Jared Jones thing, like when he doesn't have his best stuff, he's still damn near doing things that most people can't. So again, why I'm encouraged. He has one just bad outing. It's one, just one. He's a rookie. Just one. All things to be encouraged about. And the guy came up here from the very beginning. Opening day, he was on the team, just doing his thing the entire time. And the one time he has a bad outing is when he was thrown off his schedule, pitching in terrible weather. And again, like it is an excuse. He needs to do better. Skubal did very well that day, so it is an excuse for him. But like Skubal's more of the veteran guy. Jones is the rookie. Maybe that's part of it. Who knows what it is? But it's just one. I'm not going to use that one to change anything of my mindset about Jared Jones. And so far, it's been encouraging. And again, where my mind is, it's been even more encouraging to see what he's been doing in these past 4 starts.
And to just add on here, like Nola said in the comments, like the Pirates defense was atrocious yesterday, like atrocious. They've been pretty bad overall, but yesterday was a whole other level of stink too. Which just, I mean, that's just extra pitches you got to throw. Instead of getting 3 outs, you got to get 4 outs. You got to get 5 outs. That kind of stuff just, it adds up. So yeah, I'm willing to give him a complete pass for this week.
Oh, this is not me jumping on Jared Jones at all. It's just one of those where we're 2 months into his rookie year. The league's going to punch back. Like they've seen what he has to offer at this point. I want to see how he comes back at them. Because he's been, I mean, like, we're talking about a 5+ ERA for 4 starts. And I know that includes yesterday where he looked bad. But even then, it was a 4 ERA for the last 3 starts. That's not what Jared Jones should be. Not with the stuff he has. And it was like a 450.
And all fair.
Jim.
But again, like that's still very much small sample.
It is. But that's
I've been waiting for this game. I've been waiting for it. So what interests me most is what his next game is. How does he respond from this game? That's what we're going to learn a lot about Jared Jones now going forward because we see the stuff. And by the way, I just want to throw this out there too. For guys that love fake numbers and fake stats, Tyler, he still has the best stuff plus in MLB. Still has the best stuff in that regards. 131. Next in line is Hunter Green. I mean, they've pretty much been 1 and 2 all year long. Yeah. Even with his lesser stuff, he has the best stuff.
I'll be really the reason I'm worried about Jared Jones is that I worry about 2-pitch pitchers. Plain and simple, I'm going to worry about them forever.
Fair.
And as I said earlier, Jacob deGrom, what he looked like early was like that. Now we're starting to see the other shoe drop. Let's see if it can continue where he looks really good. And for the most part, he's been able to handle it. But for the majority of guys, 2-pitch fastball slider guys, they don't work as starters. He could be an outlier. His stuff is good enough to do it. I just have to see it happen.
Yeah, I mean we're a third of the way through the season. It's been extremely impressive so far. Like you mentioned, best stuff plus in the league, best pitching plus in the league, which is a combination of stuff plus and location plus. Like he's been awesome. I have zero complaints about Jared Jones right now. I'm not going to look at a few game sample size where 3 out of his 4 starts were still quality starts, and then we're going to say anything about him. So I am not going to say a single negative thing about Jared Jones at this point.
I really hope we come back here in 2 weeks and we're talking about how good Jared Jones is instead of coming back 2 months later and me being on TikTok and YouTube and everywhere telling Jim how bad Michael A. Taylor is while Jim's telling me how good he is.
Yeah, I gave you your moment.
Can I say
tonight.
something? I never said how good he was. I said defense is his calling card. I don't think he's a great hitter. Now, I didn't think he was going to be this bad of a hitter. That's where we're at. Like, I did not expect much at the plate, but we are getting some atrocious production offensively from Michael A. Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be the point where, I mean, Rowdy is the punching bag right now. Hoping that day comes. Next up is absolutely Michael A. Taylor.
Oh, he's terrible.
The one thing Taylor's got going for him is he's still like he's playing Gold Glove caliber defense.
He is.
Like he's maybe the best outfielder in baseball this year.
He's
so like, and he has positive value.
He's legitimately good in center.
He's
outstanding in center.
Yeah, he's in the 99th percentile in fielding run value. Like if he continues to play, he's probably winning a Gold Glove.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6 outs above average, 7 fielding run. Like he's saved 7 runs this year, and he's 6 outs above average. Like he's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. The issue. He's in the 1 percentile in K percentage, 1 percentile in whiff rate, 3 percentile in expected slugging, 5 percentile in expected batting average, 1st percentile in expected WOBA. He's a Gold Glove center fielder, but he's basically the worst hitter in baseball. Like, and that's including guys like Rowdy Tellez. Like, you take out that first week of Michael A. Taylor, and his OPS is in the 300s. The 300s. OPS, on base plus slugging. It's less than 400 if you take out like those first like 8 games or something. That's unacceptable. Like that's not someone who you can play every day. And it has to get better. Otherwise, they're going to get stuck with, we mentioned it on the Michael A. Taylor emergency podcast, right? Like, I thought he could maybe be a center field version of Brian Hayes, where he has Gold Glove caliber defense and 85 to 90 weighted runs created plus offense, like a below average hitter. But right now, he's Austin Hedges. He's giving you great defense, but he's being the worst hitter ever.
He's worse. So I want to put this up there because So you are correct. Like Michael A. Taylor had that really, really good first week, but also Rowdy did too. I mean, we were talking about the first week. Hey, maybe this platoon will work. Since that first week, Rowdy and Michael A. Taylor both. Michael A. Taylor has 105 plate appearances. Rowdy has 107. They're both at a 7 weighted runs created plus. They are hitting since April 8th. This is Michael. I'll do Rowdy first. Here's Rowdy. 150, 196, 180. Michael A. Taylor is 137, 194, 179. Both with a 7 weighted runs created plus. So no, they are a third of what Austin Hedges was.
That's bad. That's so bad.
Yeah.
It's unplayable. You can't play a guy every day who's doing that. You can't. And like he's nothing more than playing like this, he's nothing more than a defensive replacement.
Yes.
You can't put that bat in the lineup on a day-to-day basis. I was not expecting this terrible, like, because he's never been this bad ever. He's never ever been this bad. Even at his worst, he's been like a 70 weighted runs created plus guy, and this year just fell off of a cliff, and it's just so painful because I think if he were that 70 weighted runs created plus guy, he'd probably be a pretty good player because of how good that defense is. But you can't. He's so bad at the plate right now. You can't justify playing him. And the problem though is I don't know if there's anybody really to play instead. Like G1 Bay is your other option at this point. And I mean, there's nothing that G1 Bay has ever done to convince me that he's a better hitter than Michael A. Taylor. So, and we know that Taylor's the better fielder. Oh, it's a bad position they're in center field right now.
That's terrible.
And it's just unfortunately it's the same thing. Center field and first base, there's nothing there to replace.
I mean, Jack Sawinski being terrible is really kind of the biggest issue here. That's the biggest issue. Jack Sawinski needs to have a pulse.
Yeah, but I'll be that guy. But Jack Sawinski is the option. Like Jack Sawinski should be playing every day in the lineup in probably the 5-6 hole over Michael A. Taylor, and Michael A. Taylor should not be on this team. I know that Jack Sawinski's been terrible, and I am arguing for Jack Sawinski against a guy that called him Prime Juan Soto last year. Let the guy hit every day in the lineup and in the 6 hole. Play just slightly below average center field. And it's probably still more valuable than Michael A. Taylor because Michael A. Taylor is awful. And as I told everybody, and it got put out today, you're all going to hate him in 2 months. By June, you're going to hate him. You're going to hate Rowdy Tellez. Maybe I'm just that negative. I don't know.
Let me ask you something, though. Yes. Rowdy, we're in full agreement. DFA him because he has no value anywhere at anything.
It's terrible.
But you said more or less DFA Michael A. Taylor. And I don't know if I'm ready to go there. And I might sound like, two-faced. Well, why Rowdy and not Michael A. Taylor? To me, Taylor still provides value somewhere. Would you still want him on the bench being a defensive replacement at least or something? Knowing that it's Jack and Bay?
So that would be tough because I just don't love defensive replacements in general, especially with the DH now. Like, just let it ride, man. Michael A. Taylor just adds no value as a pinch hitter at all. He's terrible. The only way you bring him up is to sacrifice bunt. I really do believe, and I can't believe I'm ever saying this because I don't like Jack Sawinski. I don't like his game. I don't like anything about him. But he provides power this team desperately needs. And when he's hot, he will carry you for a week. I would rather have Jack Sawinski hitting 6th in the lineup every single day, lefty, righty, I do not care. And let it ride for a month, and let's see what happens. Because you know what happens with Michael A. Taylor. You're getting replacement level player with a really good defense and the worst offense you will ever see.
Well, not
Or
ever.
you just sign a real player. That works too. But with what the options are, that's the option I go with.
So Jack Sawinski is the answer to this problem. No one else really is. I guess Michael A. Taylor could all of a sudden start hitting like he has for his entire career. Like that would answer the question. Like that would provide us a more valuable player. But I mean, we're about to turn the calendar to June, and I don't know how much runtime you can give these guys. I'm not playing Jack Sawinski every day, but like a Jack Sawinski, Michael A. Taylor straight up platoon, sign me up for that. Like let Michael A. Taylor start against lefties, let Jack Sawinski start against righties, and if there's a bullpen change whenever, you can make that switch. That's where I'm at, I think. And I keep going back to this too. Like Edward Olivares needs more playing time in right field. Like the guy hardly ever plays, and he hasn't been bad. Like I want to see Edward Olivares in the lineup pretty much every day for 2 weeks, and they've been a little bit better at it here recently. He played every game against Atlanta, and we saw them take 2 out of 3 against Atlanta. He started against Skubal, the lefty, in the doubleheader, but like Edward Olivares has so far performed average, right? And that's better than a lot of other people on this Pirates team. Like, give him a little bit of runtime, and let's see what we can do.
All for that.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm about done with the everyday, and he hasn't really been an everyday player all year, but Michael A. Taylor can't get as many at bats as he's getting right now.
Yep. But Jack Sawinski has been awful. Just absolutely awful. So it's like I don't know what the answer is. But I'm going to put it out there. Yeah, like Michael A. Taylor as a platoon versus lefties does have a 71 weighted runs created plus. So again, like that's not good, but that's good enough with his defense to have a platoon. Jack's getting right. Like Jack has to get right though. That's the problem. I'm just gonna add like I'm not ready to DFA Michael Taylor though. I will say that. To me, he has to be better. Like it's got to get better for him. But at least like he provides value in something. He can do something baseball related that's good. And that's why I'm going to keep him, at least for now.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to completely jump off the Michael A. Taylor train because he does provide some value. But he just can't be playing as much as he is.
He can't play before the 7th inning. He's terrible.
I'm okay with the occasional start versus lefties, but yeah, like he just
occasional means like Rowdy Tellez level right now.
I just noticed something.
Like once a week, man.
We have a Jack Sawinski split on our hands. And I don't know if you guys noticed this either. Huh?
He hits lefties this year.
No.
Oh.
He has a -6 weighted runs created plus in PNC Park and an 82 on the road.
No.
So he's bad on the road, but terrible at home.
And that's what Jack was, wasn't it? The same exact way?
Yeah. He only hit at home. His rookie year.
Oh, he hit it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael A. Taylor is allergic to PNC Park. So there's your answer. You play him on the road. 82 weighted run on the road. He's a 264, 313, 319 hitter. At home, 118, 164, 178.
I have so much more to add to this, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean he's not that bad of a hitter, but he's also he's clearly not that good either. Like he's not as good as last year was. Yeah, can't play him every day.
Can I?
And I'm not taking home away splits seriously in any way. It's just that's just.
I'm not
something that
taking it really
happens.
serious. It's just another ironic thing, which is
Yeah.
funny because we're talking about him platooning with Jack, and it's the same thing that happened to Jack.
Yeah.
It's also a small sample.
All right, we ready to get out of here?
Are we done?
I think we're
thought-
done.
I'm
Okay.
done.
Oh.
Again,
private
we've been
chat's
saying
going on.
we've been saying in the private chat, saying, "Hey, let's wrap this up."
6
And you
minutes ago.
and you just keep talking.
All right. Well, I've been summoned to leave, folks. So sorry if you want to hear more ball, but Tyler, Jim, have Emily the show to play. But no, for real, it's been an hour 16. Let's get on out of here. Everyone, appreciate y'all for watching, listening. Go ahead, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Another big thing, of course, is June 22nd, our tailgate, Kutch Bobblehead Night, or day, I should say. So we're going to have our tailgate at PNC Park. The link is in the description here. Go ahead and click it. We had to get a whole new link because there's already over 100 RSVPs. So sponsored by Permane Brothers. You want to make sure you get a Permane Brothers sandwich. Go ahead, RSVP, and we'll see you on the 22nd.
Yeah, and don't be surprised whenever I am shorter in person than you think online. I'm short.
He's really short.
Yeah, I am who I am. Can't change it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's fine. Just let me live.
All right. Now that Tyler got his PSA
I gotta
out.
get that out of the way because when people go, "Oh, you're short." Yeah, I'm Napoleon. Leave me alone. I'm angry.
That's why he's always so angry.
Right.
I got that Napoleon syndrome. I've been told that for like 20 years.
All right.
All right, let's get out.
Bye.
Time to go.
Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Girl Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.